Within the current canon, the Jedi Temple continued to hold a position of prominence following Order 66 and the rise of the Empire. Once the home of the Jedi, the temple upon Coruscant was transformed into the Imperial Palace, becoming the seat of power of Palpatine and his personal residence. Although the story hasn't been told yet of what happened to the Jedi Temple after the signing of the Galactic Concordance and the formation of the New Republic, we can say with certainty that when Luke decided to restore the Jedi Order and train a new generation of Jedi, he didn't use the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. However, the same can't be said about the evolution of the Jedi Temple in Legends, not just in regard to elements such as Luke's new Jedi Order, but also the use of the temple during the era of the Empire. In this video expose, I will focus on this Legends evolution and describe what happened to the Jedi Temple after the fall of Palpatine. Briefly, I'll mention that the situation in Legends regarding the Jedi Temple during the Imperial era is very different from the current canon version. In Legends, the temple never rose to prominence as anything equivalent to the Imperial Palace, nor was it Palpatine's seat of power or personal residence. Rather, the temple was all but abandoned during this period, becoming a fear-inducing symbol of the consequences for those who defied the Emperor and Imperial rule. Therefore, while it was used for tours for the most elite individuals within the Empire, the temple was primarily used by Palpatine for propaganda against the Jedi, altering its archives and modifying its appearance to ensure the Jedi were seen as a malevolent threat. The Jedi Temple's abandonment wouldn't even end after the Battle of Endor and the demise of both Palpatine and Vader. It wasn't until 3 years later, when the New Republic was finally able to liberate Coruscant from the Galactic Empire, where the temple would begin the process of once again rising to a position of prominence. With the galactic capital in New Republic hands, Luke traveled to the temple to learn everything he could about the lineage and heritage of the Jedi Order. By this time, the 5 original spires of the temple had crumbled and were cleared away, a result of the Lusanka catastrophe. Regardless, Luke decided it was time to revive the Order, and with it the temple's archives, adding to them information from the Galactic Civil War. But even still, during this 2-decade period, roughly 6 years to 25 years after the Battle of Yavin, the Jedi Temple on Coruscant wasn't the headquarters of the Jedi as it had been during the Old Republic. In fact, while the archives were extensively added to, the temple operated mainly as a diplomatic waypoint and a training area for only some of the new Jedi. With Luke choosing to create Jedi Praxeums for his new Jedi Order on the planets of Dantooine, Ossus, Arcania, Tia 4, and most notably Yavin 4, these academies took precedence over the temple on Coruscant in terms of importance for the new Jedi Order. But all of this would change 25 years after the Battle of Yavin, when the Yuuzhan Vong invaded the galaxy, capturing Coruscant for themselves and terraforming the planet. Although the Yuuzhan Vong War was one of the most brutal in galactic history, the Jedi Order survived, benefiting from being able to protect and transport the information found in the Coruscant Temple archives off-world. With the Galactic Alliance victory in the war, the Jedi Order was recognized for its sacrifices and tremendous leadership. Because of these efforts, the Galactic Alliance, having retaken Coruscant, commissioned the newly formed Reconstruction Authority to rebuild the temple on Coruscant and make it a powerful symbol just as it was during the Old Republic. But just like before the war, the Jedi Order had little use for the temple on Coruscant. Although the foremost Praxeum on Yavin 4 had been destroyed in the war, the Jedi chose not to remain too closely connected to the galactic government on Coruscant, and decided to move their Jedi Academy from Yavin 4 to Ossus, the new home of the Jedi Order. Regardless, nothing was stopping the Galactic Alliance and Reconstruction Authority from building a new temple to honor the Jedi sacrifices and efforts in the war, and make it a symbol of unity between the Jedi and Alliance. Using salvaged blueprints within the ruined archives, the Reconstruction Authority began to rebuild the temple on Coruscant almost exactly as it appeared in the era of the Old Republic. The massive stone pyramid was constructed in a style instantly recognizable decades earlier, matching the original temple column for column, tile for tile, and bust for bust. The archives were not only restored, but also updated to include works that were located recently, making it one of the preeminent collections of Jedi lore in the galaxy. In addition to the temple library, the Reconstruction Authority also reconstructed the Room of 1,000 Fountains and restored it to its former glory. The temple was also given several lightsaber training chambers and a sparring arena. Further, the new temple featured dormitories for local students and for those traveling from abroad. Again demonstrating the direct inspiration that the new temple adopted from the past, the 5 temple spires, rooftop gardens, the Hall of Knighthood, the Operations Planning Center, and the temple hangars were all rebuilt to the exact specifications of the temple that came before it. Learning from the lessons of Order 66 and Operation Nightfall, the Reconstruction Authority implemented new designs into the temple ziggurat section that would be useful in case of emergencies. Utilizing a series of hidden walls, doors, and hatches, Jedi within the temple could escape out into the districts surrounding the temple if needed. But the temple wasn't built exactly to the specifications it had in the era of the Old Republic. In fact, outside of the stone pyramid, the spires, and its interior, one would have a hard time recognizing the new Jedi Temple from its predecessor when looking at it fully from the exterior. Over top of the temple ziggurat, a further green pyramid was constructed to enclose the Jedi Council spires and stone pyramid. The visibly distinct new pyramid was made out of transparent steel and duracrete, encasing the underlying temple beneath it, making the total structure over 1,000 meters tall and visible for hundreds of kilometers. In addition to the larger pyramid that enclosed the underlying structure, the 4 smaller pyramids built at each corner of the temple contained hundreds of new rooms, which would be used as residences and schools for the Order's Jedi Knights. This new green pyramid gave the temple a completely different shape from that which lay beneath it, and went a long way to diminish the fears of the new Jedi Order's High Council that a temple too similar to the old one would be a symbol that the Jedi hadn't moved forward and may still be viewed as a tool of the Senate. The new transparent steel structure ensured that the new temple was equal parts unique and a tribute to the past. As previously mentioned, when the new Jedi Temple was completed 35 years after the Battle of Yavin, it was still secondary to the other Jedi academies throughout the galaxy, particularly that of Ossus. However, that would change over the succeeding months, as the galaxy was again pushed towards civil war. With the rumors of war beginning to manifest throughout the galaxy, the Order would again begin to centralize around the temple on Coruscant. On the eve of the Second Galactic Civil War, the new Jedi Order High Council reconvened within the Coruscant Temple, with most of the Order's Masters and Knights moving into its waiting residences. When war would ultimately break out, 5 years after construction was completed, the new Jedi Temple on Coruscant became the heart of the Order, with the Academy on Ossus evolving to become a satellite training area for younglings. In our next video, we'll continue to look at the evolution of the Coruscant Jedi Temple within Legends, focusing briefly on the new Jedi Temple after the Second Galactic Civil War, and primarily upon the temple's history when it became the Temple of the Sith roughly 100 years later, occupied by Darth Krayt and his one Sith. So there we have it, part 1 of our Legends look at what happened to the Jedi Temple after the fall of Palpatine. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive rewards and discussions. If not for me... wait, what exactly happened here?